In a viral clip, after she made a foul play, Griner...
Have you ever seen something so astounding that it completely upended your preconceived notions about what happens when a celebrity says something really crazy? It ignites the internet and makes fans doubt the foundation itself. Brittney Griner, a basketball powerhouse and controversial magnet, ignited the spark with one surprising line, "I'm a grown man," and just like that, the internet exploded with unfiltered chaos. Unstoppable.
Something rather controversial. It might be, though we don't know, trash and...
During a furious showdown with Caitlin Clark, the rookie star who's been shattering attendance records and bringing attention to the WNBA, Brittney Griner made eye contact. Her jaw tightened, and she dropped the remark that rocked the internet in that intense moment. The phrase, "I'm a grown man," went viral on Instagram, and X lip readers suddenly zoomed in. Discussions about everything from gender identity to competition broke out as algorithms spun. Of honesty, point one instant. Perpetual dispute.
Fucking white girl. Others have suggested it might be trash and fucking...
This wasn't simply a casual jest in the locker room or some small-time trash talk. This was a tremendous shock to the sports culture. When an old topless photo from Brittney Griner's account was not blocked by Instagram's own algorithm, fans began to inquire. Why was it treated like a male body by the platform's AI? That one mistake ignited a fire. Timelines were suddenly overrun with irrational conjecture, hints of intersex disorders, testosterone therapy, or covert identity modification started spreading like wildfire, began as a video that went viral and has since opened up a whole new dialogue.
We don't know what she's mouthing, but she seems to, have a mouth on her.
Fans, commentators, and even competing players are now calling for explanations. Did the WNBA intentionally permit someone to, with a possibility for masculine physiological characteristics to rule a women's league? Or is this just the most recent development in Brittney Griner's career, which has been filled with scandal, success, and unreserved audacity? It all started with what ought to have been a simple foul. Standing tall at 6 feet 9 inches, Griner forcefully pushed back, both emotionally and physically, in response to a call that obviously touched a nerve. Her gaze bore through the roar from the arena, followed by the statement that rocked the internet. "I'm a grown man." Was it just a heat of the moment or a mental? Within minutes, the video was either a blunder or something more profound, a covert admission that nobody saw coming. Everywhere they went, followers dissected every frame and every expression, certain they had found something. Podcasts produced entire episodes, social media lit up memes, and late-night comedians scrambled to make gags. Suddenly, the grown guy had become a movement as well as a splitting popular opinion in half. While some praised her self-assurance, others charged her with dishonesty. Point one thing was certain, though. Nobody was ignoring it. There is a far larger and messier discussion about biology and sports justice hidden underneath all the commotion. It's not always easy to classify athletic bodies into binary categories, some people who identify as intersex, characteristics that increase testosterone production. Others blur gender boundaries with their distinct muscular compositions. Hormone therapy is frequently used by trans athletes to align with their identity and comply with league regulations. However, there is no formal documentation of Brittney Griner's treatment, no remarks made in public. No documentation. There is no sign of a medical transformation, and her past has been kept under wraps. Thus, the questions continue to circulate.
Right now you have 10 points, 5 rebounds. We see the Atlanta Dream as being very... Right now she's...
Then Brittney's Instagram story reappeared in a video that has been accessible to the public for more than 2 years. Griner looked utterly uninhibited and shirtless. Not only is the picture startling, but Instagram's why did AI, which typically blurs or flags female nudity, do nothing at all? The system appeared to recognize Griner's body as a man. This isn't an isolated technical issue. In the realm of sports, it's a huge red flag. I'm still trying to figure out how to balance fair play with diversity. The WNBA has stringent hormone regulations. rules for transgender athletes, but the rulebook is conspicuously silent about. To athletes who are intersex, the league may demand medical testing if an individual's natural hormone levels are higher than the permitted threshold, intervention, or even refuse them the opportunity to participate. However, in this instance, there was radio silence, no inquiry, and no comment. The quiet is growing louder. The same difficult questions are beginning to come from team owners, sponsors, and other players. What if Griner was raised as a woman while being physiologically male at birth? That notion by itself might blow up the credibility of the league. An additional option, an intersex condition that might have made her stronger by nature, and physical characteristics such as bone density or muscular mass. The most contentious of them is the notion that Griner might have received testosterone therapy in secret with no fan awareness, no league recognition, and no public record. Regardless of the perspective you choose, every hypothesis undermines our preconceived notions about competitiveness, fairness, and transparency, and it's obvious that the WNBA cannot afford to remain silent for very long.
About holding.
Fairness is a fundamental idea that forms the basis of women's sports. Fans wish to think that the truth of the game is that wins are earned and not influenced by undiscovered physical advantages. Thus, whether the WNBA is aware or not, permitted a competitor with masculine biological characteristics to compete covertly, then every statistic, every prize, and any motivational plot could feel tarnished at any time. It's not about a single player. It's about having faith in the system. Brittney Griner has experienced controversy before. Arrest and detention in Russia, the difficulties of reintegrating into American society, and the dramatic prisoner exchange that brought her home were all shown. Her as a lightning rod for criticism as well as a representation of resiliency. Depending on who you ask, she's either a pioneer or a walking paradox. People are now demanding the truth on the internet. A thorough probe is being demanded by some. DNA testing, hormone panels, and general openness. Some are cautioning against delving too far. Potentially invade body privacy, transgress moral boundaries, and allow discrimination. This is not just a headline. The requirement for respect and the need for equality are at odds in the meantime, Caitlin Clark's ascent has put gasoline on the flames. The WNBA has changed since her arrival. The cost of tickets for Indiana Fever games increased, only to collapse after she was injured and had to miss timed, once-empty arenas were filled with her star power. Given this, Griner's grievances on the volume of noise during Clark's games seem less worried and more resentment, as though the applause now aimed toward Clark is overpowering the remnants of Griner's once dominant legacy. The conflict between policy and individual identity, as well as between the past and present, is rapidly increasing, and the league cannot afford to overlook.
Back to you guys.
Very important questions there, I'm sure.
On his podcast, Patrick Bet-David, who is never afraid to voice his beliefs, attacked Brittney Griner using his signature combination of scathing criticism and sarcasm. Without holding back, he emphasized the startling irony that Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia while the United States sold an arms dealer to free her, is now whining about loud admirers. The jabs continued after that stark difference. He brought up her notorious remark about being able to find employment, performed courtside during games, utilizing it as a symbol of the WNBA's former lack of relevance, where the quiet of empty venues reflected the league's battle for attention. However, that time period, it is no longer there. Caitlin Clark arrived like a wreck ball, generating worldwide headlines, sponsorship agreements, and viewership records. However, rather than commemorating Griner seemed to be opposing the very momentum she helped create with her renewed vigor. The racist undertones followed. Griner implied that there was a whiff of prejudice in the largely white crowd at Clark's games, a statement that revealed long-standing conflicts in the league. Black athletes have dominated the court for years, but they hardly ever earned the level of media attention that Clark currently receives. Griner's remarks were more than just observation. They were a warning of deeper annoyances with recognition, race, and changing fan allegiance. However, the truth is that animosity in athletics is insignificant. Fresh. When Detroit established the Jordan rules specifically to thwart Michael Jordan, he had to deal with it. Serena Williams put up with it for decades while achieving greatness. When talent emerges, rivalries flourish, and Clark's fame naturally attracts flames. However, Griner's answer shows more than just rivalry. It displays an internal struggle between her athletic pride and the awkward limelight she currently occupies. In sports like the NFL, NBA, and MLB, harsh settings are a component of the wild chanting, jeering, and booing are all fuel for the flames. Therefore, Griner's suggestion that the supporters were excessively loud came out as entitlement rather than concern. Let's be honest. Fans pay to make noise, while professional players are paid to perform under duress. A boisterous arena is not an assault. It's evidence that everyone is finally paying attention. Griner will let her performance speak if she is genuinely confident in her abilities. More audible than the throng.
She's that confident in her abilities. But there's also a little delusion.
What is the WNBA's next course of action? League officials now have to perform a very careful balancing act, preserving the integrity of fair play while simultaneously defending participants' right to privacy. Point one choice. Make hormone testing mandatory for everyone. However, that allows for a significant backlash. Litigation and body policing allegations. Conversely, they could start a targeted probe. Investigate Brittney Griner's eligibility, which could appease detractors but would probably cause indignation. Within the athlete community, faith in the league's leadership is crucial. This dispute is beginning to cast a long shadow over everything. Broadcast networks and major sponsors are already keeping a careful eye on things. For some, it's a PR disaster. For others, it's a ratings bonanza. However, nobody can foresee how this storm will have an impact on the television contracts for the upcoming season, or whether corporate partners will remain, withdraw, or insist on responses. What about the athletes? Behind the scenes, tensions are subtly increasing. Some are demanding full openness, stating that if Griner had a biological advantage that was revealed, every opponent and teammate should to be aware. They worry about being perceived as deceitful or complicit, while others are fighting back just as fiercely, cautioning that delving too far. It is unethical to delve into an athlete's medical and personal past. This stalemate is extremely dangerous, with the league's very future in jeopardy.
Like the confidence be cheaper. I don't know if that's going to happen.
The public's opinion is completely divided and in full meltdown mode. Supporters on one side defend Brittney Griner's the freedom to define who she is. However, detractors contend that whatever apparent or actual biological advantage compromises women's sports fairness. Social media is a battleground. Millions of votes are cast in polls. Across timelines, hashtags fight each other. Sarcastic memes collide with emotional appeals, and trolls invade every post. The WNBA itself, meanwhile, is oddly silent despite all the commotion. That quiet, it's becoming louder every day. However, there is much more to this debate than simply one player. The league's ideals are now being put to the test. Equity, inclusivity, and integrity in competition. Everyone is being forced to face difficult questions, from athletes to supporters, concerning biology, gender, and what it really means to participate in modern women's sports. The widely shared video did not put an end to the drama. It caused the tidal wave. From coast to coast, it crashed into boardrooms, team meetings, and regular discussions. All of a sudden, everyone had opinions, legal theories, ethical perspectives, and conspiracy theories, and at the heart of it all stood Griner was trapped in a conflagration the league never anticipated, unwavering and defiant.